Yes, good evening again. So another edition of the Victor's Business Show on Voice of Salone. Again, I'm so happy today, and I'm so excited, supercharged, because we're about to bring a breaking news and something that's going to help or catapult our nation, very soon. It's actually very soon. So good evening. You're all welcome. And what I want us to do at this point is kindly, guys, let's share this video because what we are about to discuss today and the team that we have tonight is the A team. We share the video with people then, and we're about to do something very vital, something we will affect the country to a higher height. So I will encourage you now at this point, we share the videos with friends and family. But now welcome again. And I want to take this special opportunity to say thank you to all of you who have been following up show from day one, and you've supported us in diverse ways. You've shared the video week after week. You're making comments, and so thank you very much. And we're coming towards the end of the year, and I'm super excited that every time we come here, we learn new things, and we bring different personalities that are sharing important information. So tonight, we're going to have two gentlemen who'll be talking about their electric cars. And most importantly, this car is actually starts the production actually on the soil of Sierra Leone. So Sierra Leone is going to be the hub of production. So basically, they will produce the cars in Sierra Leone and then ship outside of Sierra Leone. So we'll perhaps first made in Sierra Leone cars by these two gentlemen. But before I bring them on board, just want us to look at some facts about the car industry, especially the electric car. We asked the IT, sort of the technical person, to actually please bring out the slides so that we could just look at some of the facts around electric cars. The world is going towards electric cars and renewable energy. So let's just look at some of the facts. So just educational purposes before the facts. One thing we know is that electric vehicles will grow from 3 million to 125 million by 2030. International Energy Agency forecast. So the forecast is that from 3 million currently that we have, cars that we have around the world, it will grow by 125 million by 2030, which is not too far from now. So it means that there is actually a promising industry. And another thing that we have to look at, Norway leads electric car sales market, owning about 49% of sales. The countries that deals with electric cars, Norway is actually leading that particular market in terms of ownership. And also, the Tesla Model 3 is the first electric car to surpass the 100,000 sales mark within a single year. So Tesla, which is actually the lead manufacturer, actually is the fastest to reach the 100,000 sales mark a year. So a lot of people are actually going in for electric cars. And also, only 42% of US households electric vehicles. That's another fact for us to look at. Then another statistic, it run for 100,000 miles will leave a carbon footprint of only 0.6 T carbon dioxide and CO2. Petrol and diesel cars, same distance, will leave about 2.9. Electric cars are actually less harmful to the environment, even when they are producing some CO2, but they're less harmful when you compare them to petrols and diesel. So those are some of the facts coming through. Indeed, over 300,000 charging stations for electric cars. The US, on the other hand, has less than 100,000. So it means the Chinese are actually coming. They are going to overtake America. In 2018, vehicle sales, there were about 2.2 million newly registered cars, which is 64% increase from the previous year. So last year saw the highest number of sales for electric cars. So there's a lot of people actually very much concerned about the environment. So as a result, they are going for electric cars. And Europe's switch to electric cars is accelerating. Honda recently, just on Wednesday last week, Honda announced that in 3 years, all of their production of cars will actually be electric or hybrid. That's a major change, so a lot of cars. And the last version, the last thing I want to say is about here, 8 of the best African car manufacturers. Sierra Leone is not among the end of this meeting tonight. Sierra Leone is going to be on this list. The first one is Africa. Yes, South Africa produces Biking. That's the type. That's the sort of brand name. And also we have Libya producing Saruk cars. They actually manufactured it there. We have Laraki. That's in Morocco. We have Advanced Automotive Design. That's in South Africa. Tunisia also has Wally Scar, and we have South Africa. And we have Uganda. Uganda has Kerry Motors, and Nigeria has Sun. So those are some of the top 8 African countries producing cars, which are actually made in Africa by Africans. But tonight, we're about to see history made. This gentleman that I'm bringing on board, of course, there are 2 people, but we had Mr. Festus Vandi, who I'm going to introduce very soon, and both of them and his colleague, Mr. Graham Knott, and they have been working on a prototype for so long. It's even past the prototype stage, because tonight they will actually take us through the product they have and the plans they have as far as Sierra Leone is concerned. So I want to welcome especially the 2 gentlemen who I call the geniuses of Sierra Leone, and because Mr. Graham is officially going to be a Sierra Leone time he lands. So gentlemen, welcome to the Victor's Business Show on VOS. I just want you to introduce yourself briefly, and I will start with Mr. Festus Vandi. Just introduce you to our audience, so they will take it from there.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Festus Vandi, based in the United Kingdom. I am a Sierra Leonean, based in the UK.
Thank you, sir. And we have Mr. Graham Knott. You want to introduce yourself briefly to our audience, please?
Yeah, so I'm Graham North. I'm from the north of England, and I've been developing this prototype for 10 years, and very happy to be on this show so that we can share it, our plans now. My background is in electronic engineering, in IT, and in mechanical design.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that little background about you. And the first question that I want to really ask you about this introduction is, how did you both meet? Was it by coincidence, yourself from time off, or how did you meet? I want to see actually the meeting point. What happened?
You mean how did we met?
How did you meet?
Oh yeah, I was, where we are doing this mechanical thing now is in an area called Great Norling Street. So initially I used to repair cars, all types of cars, and I had a unit there. So Graham happens to rent one of the units just opposite me. So there we start to know each other. So he started telling me about this electric vehicle and the future, what the plans are, how he wants to bring it up, So I said, that's something I like. I am an engineer. I like anything to do with engineering stuff. So this is something we can take up. And actually, then he said, okay. So he showed me this design and all this thing. I said, wow, is that something you think we can do? He said, yeah, we can, because this is something nobody has ever done. He said, I want to do something that nobody has ever done. Everything has to be the way I design it. So that's how
it's original design.
It's original design.
Yeah, it's not modified from something else.
Yeah, so
which is how people do things nowadays.
That's right. Yeah. So he showed this design, and to be honest, I wasn't convinced that was something we can do, because when he showed me, he explained this to me. I said, you know what, mate? Yes, it is something we can do, but because you have this idea of making a car to go 400 miles per charge with this, I said, why can't we just get one old banger, cut it apart, put this in, see if it works. And I said, no.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, he said, I've had that a lot. This is something I want to, do myself.
From scratch.
From scratch.
That's right.
So he started it, and I'll come around and start looking at him. I said, this guy is crazy. I say, I do fabrication. Yeah, I said, I do fabrication and all this, but what you're doing is crazy. He said, no, it's not crazy. He's a guy with great patience. He's got so much courage. He doesn't care how you think you just put him out, but he's always there. No matter how you drag him, he will come back to So that's how it all started. Then he said, listen, so I start helping, like, funnily, welding and all this thing. He said, listen, I want you on board this project. I know you can do it.
Because he started off basically coming over and just helping me out with the welding, because I'd had a chassis that's just a small amount built, and I needed somebody to help me with that. And so Festus came across and he helped me with that. And then he was basically working on it all the time. And so it was like, well, okay, well, I do need somebody to do this. And so that's where Festus came in, and it's just come from there, basically.
Exactly. So I was about to ask you, why Festus? Why, you could have chosen somebody else. Why Festus? Well, he has got the experts, but you've already answered that question, because it's to me that he was also passionate about the vision that you had. He saw the vision and bought into it, and you said, okay, there's no other person that I can actually work with than Festus.
But it's not only that.
Yeah.
It's not only that. I have actually tried to get people locally involved to try and build this project, but they don't understand it. They think they keep coming back to this business of, why aren't you just taking an existing car and modifying it? They just don't understand how to create suspension parts from scratch, how to create doors from scratch. They don't. And so they don't think like that. Whereas this guy, he perseveres with it, he works it out, and he creates it all.
Wow.
That's what I needed. I needed somebody. I knew the theory, but I've never done it. And this guy has a practical experience, and so we worked together and we designed it together based on, like what I had as an idea, and he made the practical side of it, and then we worked it out together. And it's that I needed, and that's why he's still here doing it, and not some, moved on to something else, because he
fantastic. That's a good one, and of course it shows exactly how competent he is. Otherwise, you will not be working with him. So we had him initially on the show, and there was an interview conducted by one of our brothers, CD Sakai. I'm sure he's watching this program right now, and that was the initial. So we had him, and at that time, you were actually at the very early stages. So I want the technical team to play that as well, because the reason why we want to play the video is to see exactly the progress that has already been made. So there are two videos we have for our audience tonight. One of the videos actually is the one we played when we initially hosted only Mr. Festus Vandi. But today we are blessed to have. So if the technical team can kindly play the first video for us, so that our audience can know what happened. Like, I think that was like 3, 4, 5 months ago. I don't know how long that's ago, but it was 5 months ago or so. And then we'll look at another video which shows the current status of the project as it is. And then we take the interview from there. So technical team, please, can you screen the video for us, please?
Right. My name is Festus Vandi. I'm from Sierra Leone, Eastern Province. I have been in this country for some couple of years, and my purpose of coming to this country was actually to improve on my technology so that I can take that back home and impact that knowledge on the youths coming up. I have been to Sierra Leone a couple of times, and I could see that all these youths are just like in the street, little boys selling cold waters and all these things.
Yes.
So the whole idea of me getting into this project is to actually improve on my techniques so that I can go back to Sierra Leone and start doing stuff like this.
So can you just tell us a little bit about this project? Because I must say I'm blown away when I saw it. I've never done a video before.
Right.
I'm a young entrepreneur myself, and one thing that really excites me is innovation. So
Yeah.
when I saw this,
Yeah.
I'm blown away.
Well,
So
this is just a top up. I have been doing a motor mechanic for 10 years.
Oh,
I had my own garage. I started very little and then have a very big one which can accommodate about 10 cars.
Wow.
And then I scaled and come down that unit, and I was there for 3 years. And this guy who actually initiated this project is called Graham. He's an English guy. So his dream was to project this thing, but for 10 years he's been looking for an engineer who can actually project this thing for him. So he designed it, and that's
the design.
That's the design.
So
as
can you get
see,
the design for me?
on the screen there? That's how he designed it. But he's been looking for good engineers for the past 10 years. He couldn't get someone. So he talked to me. He said, if I can do that, I said, yeah, this is my job. I can do it. So basically, I started this project from start. Everything we are doing is something that nobody has ever done. So that is basically what I'm doing. So this, as you can see, is full of batteries. It's 99 batteries. Just the normal batteries for cars, right? And this motor is a Tesla motor. It's 500 horsepower.
Wow.
So Tesla developed this motor, and you got the Tesla cars.
Yes.
But unfortunately, they can only go like for 120 or 30 miles per charge. Then you will have to pull out and then charge again.
Yes.
So what we are basically doing is we are trying to develop that technology that this will go 400 miles per charge.
Wow.
So this motor is a 3-phase motor. Is 415 volts. So 33 battery can actually run this motor and take you for 120-30 miles. So what we have basically done, as you can see, is 33 batteries per row. So when you go to 120 miles, they will automatically change to the next 33. And then you go another 120 miles, it change to the next 33.
So it's more than quadruple.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So as you go, once that one start getting weaker, then it change over. So, but what we are doing is everything we are doing. We don't want to copy, or like some people will go take an old car, cut it down, and so everything as you can do from suspension. These are all. Yeah, I made everything.
Wow.
And the first thing I did first in the beginning, I had to give it a single suspension. But this is so heavy; it's about 2 tons already. So when I gave it a single suspension, as soon as I drop it down, it couldn't carry the weight. So I start to think like, hello, what will I do? Then I begin to think like, okay, let me carry, 2 men can carry 1 leg. So that's how I developed this technology. Like I put 2 square springs here, and we call this wishbones. So before I made a single wishbone, so that can shoot up. So this upper wishbone and lower wishbone, so they can pull each other together as it goes. So that's what I have done on all the.
So that's the front.
No, this is the back.
Oh, this is the front is down.
Yeah, the front is there. As you can see, all this drive shaft, I had to do conversion here to extend it. You see, this one adjusts the way to align it. So, this is the front of the vehicle. As you can see, I've already done the steering wheel, and this is the acceleration pedal. You this one, and then the car, as you go like this, it gives you the speed.
It's been tested and it's working.
It's been tested. It's working. And that's the brakes. If I go many times, you see?
It's stopped.
Yeah.
Oh,
you see?
Yeah.
So all is working now. I did everything, as you can see. So this is the front face of the car. Now
It's like a big truck.
It's a big truck. It's a people's carrier. It's very big. It's massive. And what I have done, I look at 20, 50 years back. They are like the new system on cars now. There are so many things that making cars stop. I feel very sorry for my colleague mechanics in Africa because they haven't got the technology on these new inventions. So what I have done, like this is called the brake caliper. 20, 30 years back, all cars just had this. You see, but now they have brought some other things called servo, which have to work with air to make your ABS and all these things. So I have done everything manual. Because what we are thinking, me and my friend, is we are hoping to go to Sierra Leone, if possible, and start doing these things there.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that when I hear you speak our local language.
Yeah,
So I was already blown away, and then I hear you speak Creole.
Yeah.
Then I knew, oh, you're Israeli.
Yeah, I'm a Sierra Leone.
And at this time, the governments have actually launched the DSTI. So
Yeah.
they are basically
I have heard
innovation.
about it, and I'm so happy. I have been speaking.
Okay. I think it was a bit freezing. So welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. So that was played 5 months ago. So at that time, that's exactly the stage that the sort of production of the car was. And 5 or 6 months ago, I can't remember precisely how long was it. Or ago. Fast forward to now, we're actually in October, towards the end of October. This gentleman have actually worked very hard. So everything he said there, and when he talked about the fact that they wanted to see relief, everything is coming to quickly. We might just show maybe 1 or 2 minutes of that video because they are currently in the workshop or manufacturing center in Reading right now. So there will be live a live section of exactly how these things are done in the workshop. But let's just show another video, which was also sort of recorded by our city cycle. So I think you also just play 1 or 2 minutes of that video, then we just go back to the gentleman because we don't want to waste much of the time. Thank you very much.
Adia again today. The last time I do a video about an electric vehicle, we almost doubled the speed and power of Tesla motors, being done and being engineered by one of we brother them and in partner. So they are back today for just can follow up with waiting they happen and then get pretty amazing thing that we then plan for do with this car, and also the investment we then try for bringing Cam na SALONE. I did at the workshop today. Meet Mr. Festus.
Hello, una good evening, una afternoon, family. I'm Festus Vandi. Una be done to see me on the video before about this electric vehicle, the bill.
Okay. And we have our IT giant here.
So I'm Graham North. I'm from the north of England originally, and I've been doing the design and the electronics and the electrics for the car and the batteries, technology, and everything apart from the mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this car and just what's the vision?
So
what are you planning?
the idea of the car was originally it was just something that was to be practical for just for normal people, not super expensive, not executive sort of thing, but just a practical.
All right, so that was just a teaser. Because there's no need really showing a video when we have the two gentlemen right in front of us. So, gentlemen, thank you very much again for this hard work, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to interview you and also a screen or sort of your pros. I want you to take us through the stage. First of all, let's talk to Mr. Graham for instance. Why electric cars? Is it something you're passionate about? You could have just done something else. Why did you decide particularly build an electric car and from scratch?
So I mean, it's because I have skills in electrics and electronics, and I've worked with cars before and also software, and so it kind of put that together. But it was more because I actually worked for a company. I'm talking about, I don't know, 10 years ago now, and they were actually doing this, and it was pretty obvious that was like, then it was going to be a big thing. And so I knew that I could, like looking at their stuff, basically, they were dealing with trains. I believe it was something like a hybrid train or something, and they asked me to help with their software. And I was thinking about the sort of things that I could do. Anyway, it didn't work out with that company, and I left. And then I thought, well, I actually could do this myself because I know how to, I know how to do the motors, I know how to do the batteries charging, stuff like that. I've worked with cars as well. So whilst I'm not quite sure if I could build a car, I could do the technology part. And so that's when I set about designing something. And then I looked into, the styles and aerodynamics and things like that to try and design the shape of it. And I went through a few designs with that basically, and then I came up with a design that we're building now, and that's kind of and whilst that happening, I mean, this was before Tesla was even formed, and other guys were doing it. You had the Toyota hybrid, the Prius, things like that, and it was pretty obvious where things were going. And people do tend to. I tend to think that I can do these things myself. I don't need to, work for someone. I could actually do this myself as an entrepreneur. And so that's where I was using whatever money I had at the time to finance this. And recently I've been lucky with some of the contracts I've had in IT, which have provided the money to actually seriously get into this. And so that's when last year I decided, we're just going to go ahead, to hell with it sort of thing, and let's try it. And so that's when I got this workshop, and I'd already started the chassis, and then Festus came on board, and then it's just blown up from then and actually become a full car, which you saw in the video, and we can show you here as well. And that's really where all that came from.
Right, it's amazing, awesome. Mr. Festus, I want to ask a question about what actually prepared you to work with Mr. Graham. You saw the vision. All he gave you was a vision, a plan, and you said, "Okay, you know what? I believe in this vision. I'm going to work with this gentleman." What was the pulling factor? What was the driving force that led you walk to him onto the stage?
Yeah, well, initially this was my dream, to do something that the whole world would know about me. And it's like having a left hand, but then you need a right hand to put things together. So all my life, it's been a dream that I would do something that everybody would know that this guy actually had done something. And then when I came to this country, was in the first video, I told you I had wanted to build my own plane to fly. That was my dream. But then sometimes you think about something, it's not working as to plan. So I went back to start fixing cars and all these things, do some minor fabrication and all this, until I met Graham, who's got the same vision as I am. So we start trying things. In fact, like he was saying, the beginning was a bit difficult. Like I have been doing fabrication, late Tony welding and fabrication, all these things, but this dream was big. It was not something I've ever done, the type, and especially doing something that you don't want to copy anything. You don't want to copy from someone. You have to do it your own. So it was quite difficult. But then he's got that courage, that passion, that at some point I can give up. I say, you know what, it's not working. He said, no, it would. And this guy had so much confidence in me that even when I reach a point, I say, listen, this is not going to work. He will come. I will do rubbish. He come and say, oh, that's excellent. That's how he would disappoint me. He say, oh, that's really good. That's excellent. Then I will go home happy. And then when I complete, I say, you know what? That's not how I want it to be. And that's when okay, all right, you do it how it can work. He said, no, I can't do it, but you are going to do it. You know how to do it. He said, I trust you. You can do it. So one of the things, he does it, doesn't he? And then I will do it. And he say, I told you can do it. So he gives me that passion, that thing that don't give up in anything.
Yeah,
you can do the mistake, but you can come back and do it. And it helps me. It's improved on my skills, the welding, the fabrication. In fact, doing things properly with time, that has always been my dream. And I actually met the right hand man, so the two left and right can work together. So it's my dream. As I said, when I was coming to this country, it was a dream to do something that the whole world now, as it is happening. I know the whole world, or anyone who is watching this program, would know what we are capable of doing, and we are going to take this further. And
it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. I believe in you guys, and of course you've proven it. And so I want you to take us through the stages. Brief your workshop. It'll be very interesting or very good if you can just take us around the workshop and just explain, maybe for the next 2 minutes, so that we know exactly the processes that are involved, so people can see that this is real. It's not fake, not just that we are showing video, we are showing people like you. So can you take us through the stages and explain to our audience exactly how these things are done? You might just take 2 or 3 minutes to do that, please.
Let's back the back camera.
Do it like that.
No, let's use the back camera.
No, we can do it like that. Be right.
Yeah, but you're going to display it in it.
Okay, so yeah, but we need to be in it. So
Yeah,
you can
that's
see.
okay. We can see you.
You got the car in the background there. So
Yes.
that's the vehicle. I've got here. I'll show you this because this is probably useful. This is the design that we were going from. This is what the car is going to look like. Okay, it's just a picture there, and this is how it is actually turning out. As you can see, it's looking like the picture. That's very important that we can do it like that because it's copyable then. Because this is the thing. It's going to be manufactured. So you can see here, there's the inside. That's the inside of the door, which Festus is making up now. We've got the window regulator in there, and this is that's the back door. And then we have here, this is the back that you saw before. There's no motor in at the moment, but I'll show you that because it's at the top of the workshop because we're developing that. And there's the tailgate and all of the mechanical part, you know, the structural part sort of thing. So it's the car's, all it needs now is the bodywork putting on it and the windows, and then you've got a vehicle. It's going to have 8 seats inside. There's going to be 2 in the front that face forward, and then 2 rows of 3 behind facing inward with a table in the middle, like a limousine.
Wow.
So it's going to be a very spacious and comfortable car. We're taking advantage of it. And you can see, just don't want to go too far into it, but you can see, for instance, that we've got in there, this is very strong steel. So that if in the event that things do happen, of course, this car will definitely protect you. And it's the same at the back. We're going to have a plate at the back as well. And obviously the side, you can see it's all very strong. So this is going to be a very good, very strong car. Very, very important that. I'll just show you here as well. So this is the motor.
Right.
Okay. You want to hold it and then you can see it?
Yeah.
Okay, just going to point at the motor. Just going to tip down a bit. There we go. So you can see there. So what I'm doing here, it's got to be in that picture. I'm developing the controller side of it. This is one of the controllers on it here at the top, and this is to uprate the motor. The original motor, I think, was 300 horsepower, but this one has got an uprated controller in it. It means it can run at 500 horsepower.
Wow!
And so that this car will go up to 170 miles an hour, and it will be 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. So this is not going to be a slow vehicle, and it will do that be economical as well because it's electric. So it'll have equivalent of something like 200 to the gallon. That's normal with an electric car. Okay. And like we were discussing before, the batteries that power this, we've got those stacked up because we were just redoing the chassis, and you can see there's loads. Obviously, it goes right underneath. This is going to have 100 of these batteries in. This is 120 kilowatt hour. That's the biggest battery in any electric car, including Tesla's. Tesla's biggest battery is 100. This has got 20% more capacity, which is why we know it will do the 400 miles, you see. And also, these batteries, they're from military submarines. These are indestructible, these batteries. They'll last 30 years. This battery will last 30 years. You will pass this car on to your children.
Wow.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you want maybe to display. Yeah.
What was I going to do?
To make the motor turn.
I'm not going to do that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do it.
So so as you can see, that's the motor which is gonna run the vehicle. Is already done
It's not pointing at it.
the electronics.
Yeah.
The electronics is done, the controllers and everything.
Yeah. We're just refining it basically.
Yeah, basically.
And here we got a video showing. I think you can see it. That's an animation of what the car's going to look like. You see?
Yeah.
It's just like from the back and around the sides as well. And I keep that there so people can see it basically.
Yeah, sure. All right, thank you very much. I think this is just more than enough. We've seen the inside, inside deal, and it means it's real, it's coming to life. And from the last time we sort of spoke or interviewed Mr. Vandi to now, A lot has happened. Now, what I'm really interested in now, of course, this is all fabulous. This is all really good. But what we're interested in is the good news. The good news is you want to produce these cars in Sierra Leone. And of course, when I can't really process the information because it's too good to be true. It's really too good to be true because we don't. I mean, we haven't even started producing bicycles, for instance, and we're not even. I'm not sure we are thinking about doing that even in the next 5 years or 10 years. But now here comes the very two lovely people thinking about producing not just a car, but an electric car that is going to be faster than, or even last longer than the best Tesla car that we have. So why Sierra Leone? First of all, let's just say that. Can you just give us this breaking news? What exactly is the plan for Sierra Leone?
So let's do that. So obviously we're here in the UK, and it's because I'm in the UK. So we started creating it using these premises. But whilst we've been doing that, Festus has been shipping out equipment and preparing a site in Sierra Leone. And later on this year, we are going to start getting people to manufacture the parts, like the chassis and the suspension parts. And so by next year, they will start building the entire car in Sierra Leone. And then that means that by early next year, quite possibly, we will see the first ones being sold in Africa. And we can do that now because all of this car is fully designed. We've got all of the documentation for it. And whilst we've been doing that, we've been thinking about how other people are going to do this. So we've got training schemes ready to go for people in Sierra Leone so they can learn how to weld the chassis up, how to do electronics, how to write the software even. We've got all this planned out, so that will bring loads of skills to the people there, getting them all involved so that they're basically, there are loads of people who Festus knows there, and we can get them involved and get this car moving quickly because it's needed, basically. The world needs it.
Yeah. So are we looking at actually the first version that you're going to produce? Are you just looking at actually shipping this specific version there and complete it, or is it that you're going to start one from scratch?
So we were thinking about so this one, quite possibly this one, it may well be finished in Sierra Leone or it may be finished here. We don't know. And this is just the initial prototype. Right. The first vehicle that gets sold will be made entirely in Sierra Leone.
Okay. And that will be precisely when? Do you have any timeline exactly when you want that to happen?
Yeah, sometime early next year, we're going to start manufacturing these.
Okay, and the completion of it will be in the next 6 months. Do you have any rough idea of exactly how long it will take to produce one, based on your experience?
By 6 months' time, we will be making numbers of these.
Yeah, as we say, we have sent a lot of equipment there, and the first thing we have to do is to make sure we have to install all the machines we got there, and we will have to train people on how, there are things there are professionals that you've got welders who are good at welding, but not the way we do our welding here. So we'll have to actually train people to do professional welding. Yeah. And how there's so many, you are from there, you know about timing and right things in the right time and all this. So you have to, it's like when we come to this country, no matter how you have or how much you know, you will have to train to do things to standard. So because we are trying to manufacture this car in Sierra Leone and we're going to use the people there, and we're going to train them and all these things, we'll have to make sure they are trained to the standard that they will manufacture this thing without any problems on the road or so. So we have to make sure we make it right, that we don't do wrong thing at the end of the day.
It has to be good.
We have to be good. So we have to make sure all this is in place. So now, we have been talking about this, while we try to complete this project, we will have to install the machines, make sure everything is right and ready. So we are looking at next year, as we say, starting January onwards, to start working on that. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So are you getting any funding at all? Do you have investors? I know you touched on investors earlier. So of course, this is a massive project. Or is it that you just funding it? Is it self-funded or you have government intervention? Because I was reading something about Tesla, for instance. The reason why they are really leading is because the US government is actually funding the process. You know, they give them subsidies to be able to do that. So, gentlemen, are you having any funding at all, or do you have investors backing you in order to scale this business? Because it's a massive one.
Yeah. So right now, the funding I've done is part of a business plan, which is basically coming from work that I did and money that I gained through doing IT contracts in the UK. And so it's using that money, which is enough to get us to this stage. Right. And it was better to do it that way, because then that means that we will be exercising our own plans, we'll be our own bosses, having somebody else. Because, like I say, my experience with other people is that they go down this other route. We wanted to make something original, and you can only do that if you're in control yourself. And so we maintain that control right now. And but now we've got to the point now where basically everything's kind of planned and done, and we're moving on to, you know, like I say, the manufacturing phase. And so this is probably the best time for us to try and gain investment. And you know, and this is where we wouldn't mind opening it up to whoever needs, you know, whoever would want to back a project like this, especially in Sierra Leone. Yeah. And so this is kind of the time that we were looking at. Yes.
Now, it's good news. It's good news that you're actually planning to open it up, because this is a massive. But the first thing that you've done that I admire you for is that you've invested your time and resources, meaning that what it tells me as an investor, if I was going to invest, for instance, it tells me that you are committed, you believe in the dream, and so you're not just wasting the investors' money, because you've already put in your own money, you know, to it. So this is really applaudable. Now, another thing that I'm really particular about is the program. This is really huge. You know why? Because 70% of our youthful population are unemployed, and Mr. Festus knows that a lot of our youths are also mechanics. But the way to do it is actually sort of awkward sometimes and not professionals. That's why I agree with you that they have to be retrained. Now, for your first phase of production, how many youths are you looking at training for the first phase or employing?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, we'll be talking about, we want to make fleets of these things. And so it's probably going to take, in order to get them done in short timelines, we're going to need at least 10 welders on a base. If we're going to produce like 4 or 5 of these at a time, that could be 50 of them, you know, like as many as we can, really, to be honest. I mean, the more the better. And if we can get 10 vehicles done in the first pass, that's going to be like, you know, 50 or 100 welders that we can train up, maybe even more. It all depends on, to be honest, it depends on the backing that we get. If we get enough backing, then we will train as many people as we can and get as many people as involved as we can, because that's important. Because they're the guys that are going to make this a success, not just us 2 blokes, but those guys who are working on these. And if we can get more in quicker, then that means we can get this out there, and then it will become a technology platform that can be produced towards the whole world, and everybody can start buying this and using it. And as soon as it's done, to my mind, the better, because that will then make it a platform to be proud of, to be frank.
Right. Okay, let's just say, are you already, Mr. Festus, perhaps this question is for you. Are you already in talks with some government officials or some potential investors that you think, because trust me, this project has a very, very huge potential to change the face of Sierra Leone, not just in terms of employment, but in terms of even the GDP of the country, in terms of even the fact that, because people know us for blood diamonds, people know us for the war, and people know us for a lot of things like Ebola. Those are all negative things. But Sierra Leone, I'm not sure, Mr. Graham, have you been to Sierra Leone? Before I move on, let me just ask that question. I should have asked it at the beginning. Have you been to Sierra Leone before?
No, he hasn't.
No,
he hasn't been to Sierra Leone before. Okay,
plans to go there, but not yet.
Definitely. So don't worry. It is a beautiful place, by the way. But I'm sure some of the news you've been hearing even before you meet Mr. Festus will be just Sierra Leone is a place where there's blood diamond, you know, all the sort of stories. But it is a beautiful place, and this project for me is one of those projects that will actually uplift the face of the country. And that's why I was asking Mr. Festus, have you made contacts already If so, you don't have to give details at all. But again, do you have plans of meeting?
No, I haven't made any contact with anyone or any officials in Sierra Leone. As Graham rightly said, we are trying, or we have been trying to develop something that nobody has ever done. And when you are in control of the thing, then you can do how you want to do it at the right time and spot. If someone is pushing you, because once some people invest money and they be that dogmatic, behind you, and then you might do the wrong thing. So all we were looking for was to that stage where we think, yes, this is the stage where we can step up. This is the stage where we can invite someone. This is the stage that we can be in control and explain to somebody to understand. Yeah. Because like the way we started it, even the local people around us, they will come and say, no, this is impossible. Yeah. So it takes great patience for both of us to have come up to this point. If you look at the video, and in fact, that one, if you look at the killer to what we got now, there had been a lot of changes.
Yes, of course.
A lot of things, so if sometimes it depends on what type of investors you have who can understand. Some investors who want to invest today and tomorrow start getting money. Investment is sometimes long-term thing, and like he
certainly for this
already $250,000 is almost gone on this project, which is a prototype, very expensive. So you don't want people who don't really understand what it's all about. So we were waiting for that time that we know, yes, we have reached this point, there is a success, and we can move to another level. So now we can open the door, you see. Yeah. So we have never spoken to anyone, but I think just the right time, as we are on here, and there must be people who enjoy this kind of technology, who want progress and all these things. So then the doors are open, and we've got our website.
I like that language. The doors are open. That's a beautiful language. By the way, before the first, I will take one more question, then I will go to the Facebook comment, because there's a lot of comments coming through, so we can just answer some of them. I just want to ask a question. What would be the average cost of the vehicle, especially when it goes into full production? What would be the average cost?
The base cost of the vehicle is going to be 35,000, and that gets the 8-seater, gets you the 400-mile range and the 30-year battery. There will be higher spec vehicles, like for instance, we've got plans to do like a full suite of cameras around the car and make it so that the body is invisible and you could actually see beyond it. All these things will be in a higher spec car that might be sort of 50 or 60,000. But the base vehicle itself, which has wheels and a seat and is drivable and you can have your family in it, that's the cost of that is, we're talking about 35,000, something like that.
Yeah. And also it depends that we are also thinking we could do something smaller than that in future.
Yeah, like sure. Sure. So definitely, as you produce a massive, I know the prices will go down. Like you said, you have different models that you'll be producing. There'll be ones that'll be customized to the markets for the local Australians, and of course there'll be ones that you
sides and things like that, don't they? They want different
exactly. Of course, the first version is going to be expensive because it's the first ever fastest electric car that lasts over. I was even listening to the video. You said it will take you from here to Germany without, the battery once fully charged. That's just awesome. So let's just take some of the questions from let's take some of the questions from the Facebook page. The technical team, would you want to please pull up some of the messages so we can just Mr. Festus and Sir Graham, both of them will actually look at them. So Max Jr. is saying, I think the Sierra Leone government should invest in this project. I agree. That's why I was deliberately asking. This is one of the projects I think we should just really grab, because one of our own is part of it. And of course, Graham is also Israeli, officially Israeli now. I said it. I actually said it. Right. Kemo Jamuvo said good. Eddie Grant says innovation at work. Of course. Yes, it's innovation. It's not invention, but perhaps again, we can argue that. But yes, that's it. Johan says, this looks interesting at the moment. operation on manufacturing the MVP, minimum value products as a viable product. So MVP is minimum viable products, is on small scale, and the world is moving at a very fast pace. Okay, let's go up, please, to read more messages. Okay, my mom, who is a religious follower, says great work to you, gentlemen. And Johan also said, when are they aiming to manufacture the first set of fleets? Of course, already the gentlemen have answered that question already. And Johan says, how do they plan to compete with other auto manufacturers considering many barriers to entry? I think I would just let you answer this question, because of course you have a huge competition ahead of you and you are strategists. I think you should be thinking about how do you intend to compete with people like Tesla, who has the money, Honda, all this. But let's pause it there, please, technical team. I just want the gentleman to answer the question of competition, and then we move on to the next messages, please. Thank you.
So what we're thinking, the thing is that the design of the car is actually modular. The chassis of the car and the wheels and the power and the battery are in one section, and the body separates. And so we can actually sell those to people who want to try and design their own car around it. So the way that we're going to compete with other people is we're going to include them. They will buy this and they can make their own car out of it as well. You can have, like, for instance, if somebody wants to make a van out of it or a taxi or something, the police here, the highways agency here, they were expressing interest in something which has a heavy, and so they want a truck body on it and stuff like that. So it's bringing that in. Also, the fact that the way that the software is going to work in the car is it's going to be the same as a mobile phone, where you can write your own apps for it. So we can have other people writing display software and location software and the sort of things that you find on phones, because it's going to be like that. It's going to be opened up so that other people can be involved in the project. At the moment, you do get people who, for instance, they produce uprated they chip a car to make it more powerful, or they might make it longer range, or they might make the battery longer, or there may be a new kind of battery technology which we can include, because you can just replace the chassis.
Wow,
we're going to
this is just amazing. It's amazing. It's like you have a clear.
It's a cheap car to buy, because there's no way you can get an 8-seater car.
Yeah.
For like 30-35 grand, which is an electric car that goes 400 miles per charge, that will last for 30 years.
I see.
They just don't make sense.
Yeah. You see, so it's got so much advantage. You can take that to your great grandchildren.
Yeah.
All you need. Yeah.
Right. I like the concept of Graham that you explained. The concept of what we call, it's actually called co-optation. Co-optation is a process whereby instead of actually competing with your competitors, you involve them in the process. I like that strategy, because there's no need to compete. Like this, there's a lot of oxygen, for us also to actually sort of breathe in and take out. So yes, thank you very much for answering that question. The technical team, can we also go to some of the Facebook comments and to see exactly what our audience is saying, because we need to interact with our audience. And let's see. Okay, what are the name of the company? So what's the name of your company again, please?
Bring that in. Can you see that?
Yes, that's turboelectric.com. Wow. So electric vehicle engineering. All right. I think you have a website there already. We'll pull that up pretty soon. We'll pull that up before the end of the program. Let's look at other comments as we go. And the technical team, please. We're looking at CD, of course. CD, CD now. CD is very passionate about this project. He is your number one fan, and I'm recommending that the first vehicle be given to CD, because he's really pushing this hard. And CD Sako said the key word is securing the minimum viable product before mass production. That's what you get to do when you have the minimum viable products. And as it stands, this is their MVP coming to life. Was your prototype or your products coming to life. After this has been tested and proved, then with the employment of more skilled people and lookers, they definitely can produce more of these as there will be more labor diversified. He just summarized it beautifully. And let's go ahead again. CD as well. Like I told you, you have to give the first version to CD, please. The barrier to entry is not as complex as you may think. I think he was responding to a question. I didn't see that question. As this plant is focused on opening production in Sierra Leone, with aim of supplying within the sub-region. Yes, that's the plan. And it had been that the product is to, technical team, can you go a bit lower, please? Thank you. That the product was meant to be marketed in the UK and other mass competition states, then that barrier would be a bit more complex to break in. All right, go ahead. Of course, CD again. Mahmoud S. Jamavo. By the way, Mahmoud is one of the gentlemen that works for the innovation. I think that's an organization. For the name now, actually, to be honest. But he works for them and is might be watching this program, and it might be of interest to their department as well. So I know you're also watching, and let's build. Now, the next question I want to ask was partnership with universities. This is really good because we have the mechanical department, engineering department at FBC, Farabe College. By the way, Graham, Farabe College was one of the first colleges in sub-Saharan Africa, I think West Africa as well. And we have the mechanical department. We have a lot of graduates coming in, all due respect to my colleagues out there. But we haven't really seen, I'm not trying to blame them because perhaps they don't have the tools. We haven't seen them really coming up to at least develop, innovate, or invent things like this. And do you have any aim or intention of partnering with them so some of those graduates can actually work with you and you give them these practical experiences? Is there any plan?
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely, because they obviously have the reach, don't they? They have the ability to appeal to the audience, and we would work with them, and we can create training schemes so that will bring them into our business. Basically, provides them with a career path, basically from the university into business, which means that it helps them because it gives them a career path, and it also means that we will get a workforce who are highly skilled and can make this a reality, make it a worldwide reality. We can.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. I think this is more practical, and this is what we should be welcoming actually, because theories are different from practice, and it's two different things altogether. Now, gentlemen, can you take us through some of your challenges? Because it's not all that rosy. Definitely, this is an entrepreneurial journey that started years ago. You've spent already £1.5 million. That's a lot of money that would have enriched you guys, maybe built houses for you, but you decided to invest this money in it. But of course, it's not all that rosy. What are some of the key challenges that you've gone through and you're still going through?
Well, part of the problem is trying to design and build a car which isn't going to be something for the rich, basically, frankly. It's got to be something that's practical for the family man, for the family person. It can't be something like that. And that's the reason why we chose this specific battery technology. This is an AGM battery, it's not lithium. And it's the reason why is because it's robust, it's well known, and it's low cost. It means you can have a lot of it. And so that's the reason why the car can do 400 miles. It's got a 120 kilowatt hour battery. That's 20% bigger than the largest battery that you can get in a car today. And I designed that last year when it was actually only about 80. So they've gone from about 80 to 100, but I expected it to become more. And that's the reason why I designed it with a bigger one.
What are some of the key challenges? Yeah, exactly, that you're going through. Mr. Festus, perhaps you want to jump in. I can see you have thoughts.
As you said, first of all, it's been a hard work for him, especially who is, he has to get contracts to keep the money going, to keep this project going. Why I'm there in here to keep the work going. And sometimes, as I was saying earlier, we would reach a point where we can disagree on things. Really, we can be very angry. I can be very angry, not him. He's got so much patience, and I would say, listen, we're not gonna make it. They say, no, we're gonna. Because
technical challenge.
Because it's something we're doing that nobody has ever done. So it's a big challenge. And as I was saying earlier, he will let me do the rubbish, and then he will come and say, "Oh, that's good.
Let's call it an experiment."
Okay, experiment. I call it rubbish. Then he will come and say, "Oh, that's fine. Oh, you're getting it. Oh, that's right." and I'll be happy going. And then when I can say, no, no, it's not right. Then I said, no, why tell me in the beginning? So no, I know, but it's not right. That's not how the design looks like.
Yeah, we had to, the design had to be followed because there's a lot of people who've seen it. Yeah. And they understand it, like the shape of the car and the aerodynamics.
And you you want to do something, then people will come and say, no, there's no way you cannot do it. And we have people who come and say, this is rubbish, or this is nothing. And then he will just come and say, Festus, don't just look at them, they're jealous. So let's come. So there had been a lot of challenges until recently when we actually got the design right. We got the shape right.
Yeah. We went through about 5 of these, by the way.
5 times. Wow. We break it and that's why that's why it's expensive. Yeah. 5 times before we could get to this point now. Wow. And now we got the shape right. Now I'm now on the doors, and I've just fixed the electric window, we call it window regulators. Yeah. And everything from different things is working, and basically doing something that nobody has ever done is quite challenging and very expensive.
It is quite challenging.
And he's got this guy get off his bed at 4 a.m. in the morning and come like late just to let this thing work. Yeah. And we've been in this garage from when to when? Since this morning.
We were here at 5, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're doing this now.
Steve, so it's quite challenging. And sometimes, especially when we reach that point, we'll reach a point, I don't know where to go from there. And I won't sleep that night. I will be thinking what to do. How will I get from this point to this point? And then I will come, I say, you know what, I'm not sure from this point. They say, no, Festus, I know you know how to do it. Just think about it. Just think about it. You can do it.
One of the things that we had, one of the challenges we had, because the batteries that we're using are actually quite heavy. So we needed to build a chassis with suspension that could carry 3 tons. And that was a major challenge because modern suspension on cars, even a Tesla, I think a Tesla weighs about 2 tons and it has like just an upgraded standard suspension, but we had to take it to another level. I mean, you saw in the pictures that we're using 2 shocks and 2 springs on each one to be able to get that weight. And that was a major, we went through about 10 of those to do it, including different. And also talking about the challenges, a major challenge was to get somebody who actually could do what we needed to do. And this is where I'm really grateful that Festus came on board for this, because I went through about 40 people trying to get somebody who had the right mentality to be able to see this through to completion. And I had one guy basically just took my money and actually didn't do anything for it. He just ripped me off. And then there's other guys who they keep going on about manufacturing a car based on something else, and buy a scrap car and modify it and stuff like that. These are all the challenges that I've had in the past before Festus came on board. And then we've had, obviously, as Festus is describing, the stuff that we've had to deal with, like, for instance, how do you design the body of a car when you don't know what it looks like? How do you shape the metal for it? Things like that. And we had to use a little projector up here, and we were projecting down the shapes of it and modifying it and then welding it together. That took about 2 months to actually come up with just that design, to make the design into that actual shape. And there's been lots of technical challenges as well, like the motor. I bought that motor. It had a controller in it, but the controller itself wasn't up to the scratch. That's why I had to build it for it. Parts of it went wrong as well, so I had to replace them, but you can't get them because it's Tesla. They don't sell the parts, so I had to make them myself. There's other things as well, like for instance, the making sure that the chassis was stable and didn't flex, because you have 3 tons of battery in there. It has to be strong. And so we had to actually take the whole thing apart, tip it on its top, and then re-weld all the base. And that was a month, that, wasn't it? Yeah, because it wasn't strong enough. It was flexing. So we had to build it up and make it stronger again. And we've got to replace the batteries in and test that. There's been a lot of technical challenges.
This is really, and thank you, gentlemen, for laying this bare, because the journey of entrepreneurship is actually tough. And what I'm sensing from this conversation, I'm also learning from you, because the truth of the matter is nobody gets to see the pain, the challenges that you're going through. And that's why I deliberately asked you this question. But what I'm sensing is that there is a teamwork going on here. There is belief, self-belief. You believe in yourself. And it's the fact that you believe in each other. and you believe in Festus, even when Festus, and also there's a room to fail. And also what I'm saying is that for every success, there are successive failures. You haven't just failed one time, two times, you've changed. And every time you fail, you're losing money, you're losing time. And sometimes it leads to frustration. I'm sure at some point in time you feel like giving up. Why am I even doing this? And this might even cost you your marriage, because your wife will be like, why are you spending this kind of money? I'm just kidding. I don't know. It might cost you your marriage, because the wife wants you to go and spend in the supermarket, or maybe buy some nice bags, and then you're just spending on something that is just messing up. So I see that, and I also see trust. Yes,
it's been a huge challenge. Now it's, as I'm saying, it's about a month or two now that people who used to criticize really come to say, this is,
we're getting compliments
now. We're getting compliment. Now everyone comes, though all those who are criticizing are just coming and say, wow, I can't believe you guys actually can do this.
Yeah, they don't believe it actually came to shape.
No, they never believed that. No. So, we are just strong, and we try to be focused. We don't just listen. We're very determined, and we've always been determined until we got to the point where we've actually made it. It's working. It's gonna work.
Yeah. So this is awesome. Trust me, I'm very much pleased with the news, and thank you for really giving us your time and the fact that you're really making it real. Like the last time Festus was here, he explained about his background, and the whole essence of this program really is not just to share sort of your successes like what you're doing right now, but behind every success there are successive failures, like we just discussed. And it's good for our young entrepreneurs who are watching the program, or perhaps people who are already doing business, because it's tough. Business is a full-time job plus. I always say this, and it's hard work. Sometimes it's lonely, and especially when people are saying, why you be working on this? They're doubting you, but you kept going on. You persisted until this point. Now people are complimenting you. So imagine if you would have given up. This would never have happened. Now, one question for you, gentlemen, before I sort of read some questions on the Facebook page, because I know you're busy, very busy people, is that I want to know exactly, is this plan, do you have plans to spread across Sierra Leone? Because when people think of opening manufacturing plants or whatever it is, we think about Freetown, the capital city. Do you have plans like going to Kenema, or maybe open sub branches across the country, or are you just going to focus on Freetown?
Well, the point is the resources. What we are doing, as we say earlier on, if we have involved anybody or government officials, also we have been trying to work within our own reach. And the area we have IMAC is a place which I have secured for over 20 years, which is Waterloo 55. And that's where we're building the garage and so. But once we get there, we see how it depends how the production goes, because you cannot spread everywhere at the same time. You will lose. Definitely, you have to start from somewhere and take it to the next level. Of course, Freetown is really choked for everything. It's always good to decentralize things. In some other areas. But at the moment, we've just got one area which we are going to focus on. That's in Waterloo 55. So once we start the production,
I remember you talking about 55. That's like your spot.
Five spot. The quite busy area. Yeah.
All right. That's fine. Yeah. So let me read some messages from our Facebook page. A lot of people have been watching really and commenting at the same time. Joanna is on your case, by the way. She says, he says, you are both technical guys. Do you have any business focused guys on the team? This will definitely be required when fundraising. If you need any business minded person, don't forget CD and Dr. Alfred, who will give you all the advice, But I think that's a very good point, by the way. On a very serious note, you might need, because you're technical guys. You might know business, but you might not know it. You don't have to know everything about running a business, but of course, that's why you need some technical guys on the team, especially if you're trying to invest. Call people on board the team, build your team. You need people who have business acumen to take you from 0 to 1. And also we have Mahmoud as Janvubo, and says, okay, he's inviting more people to watch the program. By the way, Mahmoud, like I said, works for, I keep forgetting the name of the government has set up actually innovation sort of institution that watches, that actually looks after all innovation practices in the country. For some reason, it just, it keeps escaping me, but he's watching, and I'm sure he might be interested in this as well. And Eddie says, I came in late. Can the car be displayed once more? Thanks. We'll show you the video at the end of the program, so keep watching. It will be displayed again. Okay, Mahmoud S. Jambo said, this is extremely wonderful, boss, and so on and so forth. So last thing I want to just ask, or maybe just one favor from you gentlemen, is what sort of advice will you give to our young people? Because my focus is all about empowering the youth. If we can empower the youth, like through your training programs, which I'm very, very happy about, to make them more technical oriented, using their hands to bring income, definitely the country will move forward. So what sort of advice will you give to our youths that you live with? What's your party message? So I'll start with Mr. Festus Vandi, please.
Yeah, as I've always said, first of all, if Graham could trust me, it's because I'm very honest. Because honesty is everything. And that's the first thing I would like to advise all the youths or whoever want to. If you want to grow, there's no way you can grow without being honest. And always believe that you can always do it. You can always push it. To play with your hands, it's not everybody is meant to have a university degree, master's, PhD, and so. You could still do it without all those qualifications if you are really determined. You see, because like in this country, most from A level, you go to college, you start learning these things, and because technology moves country forward. So I would advise everyone that it's never too late. You can always do it. Don't ever lose hope. Just keep going. And that if we are coming there now, there is that opportunity for people who are really ready. You have to be ready to do it. You have to be ready to learn. You have to be ready to sacrifice. And once you're ready for that, then you will get all the helps you need, actually. So
thank you very much for that. Graham, over to you, please. What's your party message? What sort of advice will you give to our young people? But that was very good, Mr. Festus. Very good take as always. Yes, Graham, over to you, please.
Yeah, so I would say if you have a passion for something, then follow it, do it. This is your life, and you've got to do it. You can't just expect somebody else to do it. We are making a car. This is something that loads of manufacturers, large-scale manufacturers, are doing all over the world, and yet we're still doing it because there is always a niche. There is always something somebody can do. There's always some way of using your skills. There's no such thing as a stupid person. There's just learn and understand, and it will come. It will come. It came to us, and it will come to you.
Yeah. So the last, I think that there was a question I wanted to ask before we actually round up is, I'm sure the innovation or whatever it is has already been, you have IP rights to it, right? It's already been patented, right? You have patent rights to it.
There are. Yes, I've got some patents.
Okay, you have that. Okay, so those are some of the mistakes that some people, of course, at this advanced stage, I'm sure you would have gone through that. But again, it's been a pleasing pleasure to have you gentlemen both, and thank you for your time. And we are very happy. Sierra Leoneans are going to be happy to host you. Graham, you will be in good hands. There is a beautiful country. We've got beautiful people, and I'm sure by the time you go back, you will never want to come to the UK again. I promise you that. Because I promise you that. And trust me, Graham, by the time you go, you would never want to leave the shores of Sierra Leone. It's a bit of a country. Don't listen to what the news say about anything about Sierra Leone, negative things they are talking about. You go and see for yourself. And by the time you come back, you say, Alfred told me. And of course, Festus has been telling you always. And so it's really a pleasure having you again. We thank you very much for your time. Keep pushing. And if there's any way we can help you, viewers can help you, or even my company, The Big Source, can help you to promote your brand, or maybe in any other way, let us know. If you want some interviews or maybe a promotion, whatever you need from us that we can do, we are willing to help you. But again, thank you very much. And I want to say good night to our audience, and thank you for watching. And please continue to share the video so that I can reach the last Sierra Leonean that is on art. We want everyone to watch this program because this is, for me, this is like the breaking news. Because such news is hardly come by. So thank you very much. Good night. Have a blessed night. You want to say good night, Festus and Graham, to our audience before I close the program?
Thanks for on the show. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it so much, and we thank you also for setting up this interview, and that you actually made the world and all Sierra Leoneans know about what we are capable of doing and our plans. And we are asking everyone to join hands together, support, and if there's anyone, as I said, the door is open now for whoever would want to come in. And you can go to our website at turboelectric.com, and you can get all the information you need to contact us. So thank you so much.
And then also, I would not do justice to the gentleman who connected us together, C. Sako. This is one gentleman, by the way. He's just selfless, and he goes all the way to make sure that he promotes his own. So, Stevie, thank you very much. I hope we have 100 of you in that country. Continue to do what you're doing. Whatever you sow, you reap. Not just what you sow, you reap. You should reap more than what you sow, because if you plant a seed, you get several seeds. So keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track. We love you. We love all of you. Thank you. Have a good night. Until next week, Saturday, when we shall bring you more interesting interview. I want to say good night.
Again today. The last time I do a video about an electric vehicle, we almost doubled the speed and power of Tesla motors, being done and being engineered by one of we brother them and in partner. So they are back today for just come follow up with waiting they happen, and then get pretty amazing thing that we then plan for do with this car, and also the investment we then try for bringing car na salon. I did at their workshop today. Meet Mr. Festus.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, family. I'm Festus Vandi. Una be done to see me on the video before about this electric vehicle, the bill.
Okay. And we have our IT giant here.
So I'm Graham North. I'm from the north of England originally, and I've been doing the design and the electronics and the electrics for the car and the batteries, technology, and everything apart from the mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this car, and just what's the vision?
So
what are you planning?
The idea of the car was originally it was just something that was to be practical for just for normal people, not super expensive, not executive sort of thing, but just a practical car for people. So this car is designed to carry 8 people with lots of space inside. It's going to have a table in the middle so people can sit around it like a limousine, and lots of space in it. The car is designed to have 400 miles range. That's more range than the longest Tesla, the one with the longest range.
Before every recharge?
Before every recharge. 400 miles.
Wow.
That's from here to Germany.
Yes.
You can go from here to Germany in this car when it's fully built, obviously.
Okay.
And the battery in it will last 30 years. It will it won't need to be replaced until at least 30 years. So it's long range, the battery has a long life, it can carry loads of people, it's safe, it's strong, and it's just a car that people, we feel, want. They want a car which is not expensive, not the price of a Tesla Model X. They want something that they can afford. And
last
they want
longer.
it to be to last this car. If this car lasts 30 years, you can pass it on to your children. You won't need to do anything. You might need to do the tyres maybe or something like that, but no water, no oil, no changing of anything. It's full electric, no petrol, no diesel.
I mean, before the video, you mentioned pretty amazing stuff you're planning on doing in the interior. If you can just mention some of them.
Sure.
This is the model right here, right?
Yes, that's it. Yes. and then some interior stuff. So the idea is this isn't going to be low tech. We're going to have displays inside, and you'll be able to install apps. They will work on the car like on a phone, so you can actually add apps to your vehicle if you want something that plots your journeys or something like that. You can write your own apps or download them. It's going to have broadband in the car through Wi-Fi broadband. We're going to have electric mains in the car. You're going to have plug points because the batteries will power them, and so we're going to have mains in the car. So it's going to be like in your house, but in a car with a table in the middle. So you can write your own apps. We can have people developing, games for them, things like this if they want to. You can, it'll have GPS, it'll have sensors and stuff, so you can have things which can, use those just like a normal, like on a phone where you develop an app that moves around or something. You can get something that's location based or something like that.
So basically, while we were having our discussion, you mentioned that you're actually looking to unveil this car in Freetown in Sierra Leone.
That's right.
As the first made in Sierra Leone all electrical high definition car.
Yes, that's right.
When are you looking to do that?
So we're already talking about it now, and we're talking about doing an unveiling sometime early next year. Okay. This car will be in Freetown, unveiled sometime early next year, I think.
Yeah, that's why we're now working towards that to happen. That early next year, this car will be in Freetown, displayed to the public to see. It's going to be a very amazing car. In fact, it's not going to have something like wind mirror where you have to wait to see who is coming. Everything is going to be coming around the car, so you can view the outside of the car inside.
Wow.
It's going to have loads of cameras all around it.
So
you won't have any problem moving around, parking.
So this will basically be the first made in Sierra Leone all electric high tech vehicle.
That's right.
That's
right. And so when you said that, I think a lot of my people want me to also ask, is it that you're planning to establish a manufacturing plant in Freetown where you can manufacture cars like this, or is this the only car you plan to do?
No. We're setting up a workshop in Sierra Leone for people to come in and learn how it's built so that they can get involved, get local people and train them up in the mechanical engineering that we're doing. There's all the software. You can see we've got a motor there where we're dealing with the controller side of things. We're going to get people to do these. We're going to teach people how this is done so that they can have these skills as well. There's
as you can see, it's just building one of the softwares, from scratch. This is how much you can do. There's a lot in these high tech things which we are going to take that to Sierra Leone to actually help to empower the youths, so that they can learn and move the technology forward. Yeah. So that's the dream.
It's clear because of what I'm seeing now, and a lot of other people I'm sure will be able to see a little bit of everything here. It's quite clear that you guys have both, right, I'm talking about like the two of you must have had a lot of experience in working in mechanics and high-tech things like this. What are some of your, is some of the background?
I'll tell you something, right? Because one of the dreams we have is, we think there is nothing impossible if you want to do anything, regardless of what you have or where you are. Imagine we have this in this small shed. We haven't got sophisticated machines or robots.
That's how it started.
You saw the last video how we started it. People were coming like, oh no, this is impossible. Oh, you have to get from. But now people are coming actually say, are you repairing this? Yes. No, we are not repairing. They think it's an actual car. They think it's an actual car. No, we're not repairing it. We are making it.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks, oh yes, it's possible. So what we want to tell people and viewers over there is, it's not about having everything, but we can do it with nothing and out of nothing. Because like Sierra Leone is an underdeveloped country, now we are trying to get to the global. So we want to encourage, like those over there, we are determined to change from zero to top, out of nothing. we can do something. If we can do this, we are going to do something more bigger than that, and it's going to be the most amazing.
So, Mr. North, you have experience in software development.
Yes.
What are some of the most iconic softwares you've worked on?
So I've worked with a lot of large companies previously. The systems that the government has, I've been involved in writing the software. The stuff that when you go online and you pay for things and you get the license and stuff, some of that stuff is software that I've written. I'll show you something here, and this is actually quite crazy. Oh, here we go. So this is obviously, people know what this is, a mobile phone. Some of the first smartphones, which were a Sony Ericsson P800, it was my code that was inside running the baseband chip. I was with one of the first companies that produced the radio part, the transmission part of the phone, and you can plug a debugger and you can see my code actually running. I was surprised I didn't know, because I was working for a different company, because there's loads of companies involved. But this is about 12, 15 years ago now. And that was my code in the phone. I was really, really surprised to see it. Now, obviously, it's long gone since, and this phone hasn't.
I mean, the reason why I ask is because I want people to know the background you guys have, the experience you guys are coming with in Freetown, and then the investments you're coming with, and then the opportunity for the young people to learn from you, and how best we can see how we can drive forward in pushing, in getting the tech industry revolutionized in any way possible in Africa. Because what I'm seeing here is it's amazing, right? And then for this to be the very first all-electric, high-tech, made in Sierra Leone car, right? Well, come next year. Yeah. It's a huge thing for us.
That's right.
And yes, and tonight you guys will be on the Victor show, right? Talking about this car. People, make sure you tune in on our show day, because a lot of information will be provided by Mr. North and Mr. Vandi. And yes, let's keep inspiring each other.
You can be my brother. You can be my friend. Have you been looking for a place to get quality education but don't know how or where? Canadian College of Modern Technology, situated at 1 Silicon Hills, Mile 91, opposite former Camp Charlie, is the right place for you. Canadian College of Modern Technology, an affiliate of Dala University, is a fully accredited college with a Tertiary Education Commission (TEC) and a National Commission for Technical, Vocational, and Other Academic Awards (NCTVA). We provide world-class tertiary education in computer science, business administration, mass communication, business information technology, Microsoft Server Administration, networking, database administration, building and construction, and other professional courses. Apart from its conducive environment, which makes it suitable for learning, Canadian College of Modern Technology is proud of its experienced local and international staffs. Come and experience a transformational learning environment, fully equipped with CCTV cameras, a world-class electronic library with the latest iMac computers for collaborative learning and research, and access to high-speed internet service throughout the campus. And guess what? Canadian College of Modern Technology is the first college in Sierra Leone to operate the first educational purpose-only television and radio station for its mass communication students. Come and be part of this historic experience. We have reserved a space for you. You want to know more? CCMC provides 24 hours electricity from a solar harvest power supply system with a backup generator. This highly secure campus also have a canteen, student hostels with clean pipe-borne water. Canadian College offers many more amenities for our students to help make learning a good experience. For more information, contact us on these numbers: 079-630-407 or 099-140-208. If you want to succeed, Canadian College will exceed your expectations. Canadian College of Modern Technology, a place where career begins.
Cotton Tree Pharmacy is your new trusted provider of pharmacy services in Sierra Leone. You can count on Cotton Tree Pharmacy for genuine quality brand name and generic medicines. Guaranteed refills for prescriptions issued by doctors in Sierra Leone or abroad. Door-to-door medication delivery service in Freetown and beyond. Free health education. Have you heard about our Diaspora Medicine Connect? With Cotton Tree Pharmacy's Diaspora Medicine Connect, anyone can pay for your prescription online. Bring your prescription to 17 Pademba Road. Collect an invoice. Send your invoice to your sponsor in the diaspora. Your sponsor pays for your prescription online. We deliver your medication to you. For quality prescription and medications, visit Cotton Tree Pharmacy at 17 Pademba Road in Freetown. Have questions? Call our pharmacist on WhatsApp at 030-611-664 or visit our website at www.cottontreemedicalgroup.com. Come to Cotton Tree Pharmacy. We are ready to fill your next prescription.